Hello, guys. Hello. Time for Educate and Chill. As you come in, tell me one thing you've done for yourself today. Hello, hello. Hey, Tiffany. Hey, guys. As you come in, tell me one thing you've done for yourself today. Hello. Hello, guys. I need to get some more candles, Tiffany. Actually, I might get some after this call. Have to figure out what I want to eat for lunch this week. I need to go meal prep. Hello, hello. Hey, guys. Continue sharing one thing you've done for yourself today. Hello, Anderson.
Hey, candles sound nice. What flavor?
Huh?
I said candles sound nice. What flavor?
I don't know. I like fruity flavors. Tiffany in the chat says she was lighting some candles today.
What flavor, Tiffany?
Tiffany, what kind of candles did you have? I like fruity flavors. I try to get into like the caramels and those like deep woody flavors in the fall, but I am
Yeah,
a fruity girl.
yeah. I love the woody smells, and I also like lavender.
Yeah, lavender is a good choice. I love anything lemon. I put lemon in my diffuser, so I have
Yeah,
lemon diffusing. Right now, I have pumpkin sage. That actually sounds really good.
pumpkin sage. Yeah, it does sound good.
That does sound good because sage is a really great smell. I'm gonna have to look that up.
It's strong too.
Well, hey guys, welcome to Educate and Chill. I really be like chilling in my little chair over here, getting too comfortable. So every Sunday we
I'm
host
on.
conversations around self-care with educators because as educators we often pour so much of ourselves into our profession, inadvertently
I'm gonna text
neglecting
you now.
ourselves in the process. So on
Okay.
Sundays we just have conversations with educators just to see how they manage their self-care. So as you come in, continue to write like what you do for yourself and what you've done for yourself today. And if you have any questions, you can also go ahead and press that question box and we'll answer like any questions in the end. Coastal Sage. But we're gonna get started, guys. Hello, hello.
I just sent it to you.
Are you ready?
No, I'm ready. I'm ready. You may hear my son singing in the background. Don't mind him.
Oh,
Uh,
come on. He
he
can get on. He
he
can
he loves
serenade us at the end.
he loves what do you call it? Frozen. So he's watching Frozen #2. So
Oh my gosh, kids love
whatever.
Frozen. Hi. Okay, so before we begin, do you mind taking a few deep breaths with me?
Let's do it.
Okay, I close my eyes. You don't have to. I just close my eyes.
I close my eyes.
We'll do 3 of
I
them.
close my eyes.
Okay.
All right, 3.
All right. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more in and out. Whew. Hey guys. So I find that like it just allows me to just like calm down because always like before I do these calls, I find that I'm always doing so much stuff. It's just so funny. So I'm like have these calls every Sunday and I should be like prepared, but I'm always doing stuff. So
It's
that
so
I
good, but nah, breathing it helps. It's helpful.
yes. So tell everyone a little bit about yourself and your journey into education. Well, tell them your name. I'm sure they probably don't even know your name.
Man, my name is Bleeding Ink Andy. It's on my birth certificate.
What is it?
Bleeding Ink Andy. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's a
Oh, I'm
joke.
like, no, it's not.
So I'm Anderson Smith. I received my PhD in English education from Teachers College, Columbia University. I've taught creative writing and spoken word poetry in both medium and maximum security prisons here in New York through rehabilitation through the arts. I myself am a spoken word artist. I do spoken word. I'm also the chief impact officer for book clubs, and I serve on the board of directors for the Justice Arts Coalition. I have a strong commitment to social justice, equity, inclusion, and while supporting ways to question and change inequitable social norms. And my research, finally, my research interests align with self-reflection and resilience that emerges through active participation in book club communities. I'm an avid reader of mystery and sci-fi, and I firmly believe that what we read affects how we think. So that's what I do.
I love that. And it's so funny when I first started like the apparel side, because the apparel side started before Black Educators Connect. And every book, like every shirt I started with, like everything was intentional because like I'm a deep thinker. And every collection was named after a book written by a Black author. And the shirts were a reflection of that. And we're supposed to do like a book club. But everyone's not as active as I am. I'm like, I'm ready to go. Like even in the Facebook group, I'm like, hey guys, are you ready, you know, to start the book club? Like, and everybody's like crickets. So a bit of that journey. Of course, like there's many different forms of self-care. Like what does self-care mean to you?
Self-care means thinking of yourself before others. And I know that may sound selfish, but let me explain. I was in a conversation the other day with my cousin, and I forget how we got on the topic, but I said that if you truly want to be present to take care of others around us, we need to put our life jackets on first so that we can be strong for them. So self-care is not selfish, it's essential almost. So it's particularly difficult when you're a parent. I have three kids, one adult child, I guess, or one adult and two children, and I constantly put them before me. And that the thing that just parents do.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I think a lot of parents like have a hard time. I don't have any kids yet, and like as I'm in my teaching journey, like my students always say, "Miss, you don't have any kids," and like the days when they're like rowdy, I'm like, "See, this is why I don't have no kids," and they're like, "You always say that," and I'm like, "It's the truth."
That's funny.
But yeah, a lot of my friends grapple with that, and it's just like you have to think about the fact that like when you're tending to you, you're able to service your children better. So it's not like taken away from their time or anything like that, because you're servicing you so that you can again service them.
Yeah, you gotta kind of be there.
Yeah, it's a balancing act. So one of my questions was how you implement self-care in the classroom, but how do you implement self-care in your profession, I should say, because you're not necessarily in the classroom, correct?
Well, when I teach in prison, I'm in the classroom. But right now, since COVID and everything, we're not. So we're doing a lot of professional development and stuff like that. And I still do workshops, but everything is kind of online. But when I am teaching, much like how you started today with this breathing technique, I think that that's a great way to start. Another way is we stretch. We literally get up out of our street seats and we would stretch. And my other favorite is giving them a prompt, and that would be what's one thing that you've done for yourself today. So like what you would do. So I teach adults and I teach adult educators. So oftentimes when we get in front of each other, especially for those, we're always juggling a million different things, and I think breathing, stretching, or doing a prompt before you engage in whatever activity, it gets you in that moment and it gets you in that space to kind of leave everything outside of the door, especially, teaching men and women in prison. They come in with a lot, right? And sometimes in that classroom is the only moment of peace that they really had. So it's important that they kind of leave everything outside and you get them in, so this way they could have a productive conversations and such.
I love that. And so outside of your profession, like what do you do for yourself for self-care?
Every morning I wake up at like 5 o'clock, and I first thing I do is I pray, right? And then I would stretch. I do an 18-minute stretch from HasFit. It's HasFit sciatica stretch is really, really nice. I don't know if you heard my son just now. He's doing
Oh,
it.
no, I
He's
hear
doing
her now.
it. No, it's okay. It's okay.
No,
That's
it's
that's the life.
okay.
That is the life that we live. So I stretch. After I stretch, then I would do a 15-minute meditation. I listen to like ambient noises for 15 minutes, and I'd meditate. After I meditate, I'd write in my journal for about 15 minutes. Um, and then I do I've been on this journey to become more virtuous. So Benjamin Franklin has this 13 virtues. You could
Hmm.
look it up. So basically, I would read that out loud. I'm gonna
Okay.
I spare you it, but I basically read the Benjamin Franklin's 13 virtues of life to myself every morning, and it's been a great help just to be more virtuous. I mean, it's a struggle, but
I'll definitely look that up. Okay. And so sometimes self care for me is like watching TV. And like on Sundays in particular, like I really like watching the new Ghosts of the Power. I mean, they're on
yeah.
like a semi series like finale, so it's not gonna come on for a couple
I
weeks.
know,
Which
yeah,
is crazy because like it's really good. At first everyone was like, it's not gonna be good, they killed Ghost, but it's really good. So like every Sunday, literally after I do these lives, I watch it. But now
yeah,
I have to find something to watch now because I really do like in college and stuff, I never used to watch TV, but now I enjoy it because it's like a form of self care for me because I sit down and I'm so glued in, I'm not
yeah.
worried about anything else. So like what shows are you currently watching or like binging right now?
Well, when my kids are not like monopolizing the TV, and whenever I get like a second, because I'm doing a lot, like I mean, like so many different things. You would think that things would slow down, but it didn't. So I was watching Power just like you.
Hmm.
I'm all caught up with that. But now I'm watching The Boys
The
on
Boys.
The Boys. It's on Amazon. Oh my goodness. Talk about, I mean, those writers really put it all on. So it's basically about flawed superheroes with human qualities.
Oh.
Just imagine them how they are. I mean, because you think about it, superheroes need money, right?
Hmm.
So these people basically they privatize their superheroing,
Oh.
and it just speaks of all of the flaws, everything that they go through, and um, they get into some really really heavy stuff in that show. I don't want to spoil it for you, but
Okay.
it is incredibly dope. Seriously,
I'll have to look it up. So I have two things, that book and now the series. Okay,
yeah,
so your shows Power and The Boys on Amazon, and then like I find it peaceful, of course, to listen to music. So like every intro of these lives, I always have Corinne Bailey Rae playing because I love her. Like I love neo soul. It's like so
yes,
soothing and calming. So like,
yeah.
what types of music do you listen to? Like, what are your favorite songs, artists?
Well, me, I'm a strings person. I love smooth jazz, but I listen to a lot of ambient music. But one of my favorite artists is Lawson Rollins. If you ever had a chance to listen to him, oh my God! Like I mean, I used to travel a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and when I went to Spain, it really caught me. So Lawson Rollins is one of my artists, and then of course Drake. I'm a big Drake fan,
Yeah,
so I listen to a lot of Drake, and a lot of him too.
I
So
love
yeah.
Drake. Okay, I have to listen. Another one, Lost in Row. I've never heard of him, so
Oh,
when
it
I
changed your life. I'll put you onto a song. It's called "Return to Rio." That's my jam.
return to Rio,
Yeah,
look it up.
yeah,
Okay, so we have TV shows, we have music, and so
yes.
like, is reading a stress reliever for you? And if so, like, what books are you currently reading? What's the last book you've read?
Ah man, reading is a huge stress reliever. That's what I do. So just get into a little bit of education real quick. Dr. Bishop, Rudine Bishop, she would say that books are mirrors, windows, and sliding doors. So as a mirror, we know it's important to see yourself in what you're reading. But
Mm-hmm.
as a window, we get to see and imagine, different worlds. And
Mm-hmm.
then as sliding doors, it's almost as an invitation to enter those worlds. So I think that she said it, the best by describing it as a mirror, window, and sliding door. So I am currently reading. Well, I just finished reading for the second or third time. I lost count. It's Love from the Vortex by this awesome author, Dr. Yolanda Celia Ruiz, who is also my dissertation sponsor. So it's a poetry book, and you guys need to pick that up. And it is dope. It's poems, and it really tells an amazing story, and it allowed me to kind of question a lot of things that I was doing as a man and how toxic I was. So I'm reading that, and currently I'm reading a lot of stuff that deals with my field in terms of books and book clubs and community and building around community. So I'm reading a lot of Louise Rosenblatt right now, um, and Laven Wenger, who's situated learning and legitimate peripheral participation really informs how we construct knowledge and community with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And of course Paulo Freire. I'm just basically reading all three of them back and front, and that's one of my quotes that I had given you. But yeah, and we can get into that too. But that's what I'm reading. I don't want to.
What's the author again from the Love from the Vortex?
Oh, Yolanda Celia Ruiz.
Yolanda. Okay, I got it.
And she's gonna be on one of my upcoming webinars. So
Oh, you'll have to send me information. I'll post
yeah,
it.
yeah. She is incredible. She probably is tuning in. She said she was gonna tune in today too, but
That's cool.
she will.
And so you told me your favorite quote. I'm going to read it word for word so don't get it wrong. No
Good.
one educates anyone else, nor do we educate ourselves. We educate one another in communion and the context of living in this world, by Paulo Freire. Is that how you say it?
Paulo Freire.
Freire. Okay. And
No,
it's because
sorry.
I had to look him up to like gain further insight on him, and I found out that he has like this pedagogical model, and he aims to like liberate humans
Yes.
and to make it easier for us to work together and to care for one another, which I really like because it goes along with self-care. And so within that and caring for others, like what advice would you give to a first year teacher or a teacher in particular who is having a little difficulty with self-care?
Well, Paulo Freire, he wrote this book called Pedagogy of the Oppressed. And in that book, he discusses his theory of praxis. And praxis is action and reflection.
Mm-hmm.
Action not thought alone or action alone, but a combination of the two. So when we think of reflection, we think of metacognition, thought on thought, or thinking about our thinking. And as we think about our thinking, it exposes who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And we can, as we consider, just the outside in society and how we learn really from others. We learn what's right and what's wrong from our correspondence with others. So I think my advice to teachers would be always look for ways to think metacognitively about what we're doing. Think about how it is our students are receiving what we are teaching. Yeah, it's like I always go back to this example that I tell my students. I said, what does it mean to be yourself? And I think that we can't encourage our students to be authentic if we are not authentic in our teaching, and we don't even know who we are ourselves. So I think that the first thing you need to do is ask yourself, are we living? Are we practicing what we post, if you will, right? But are we doing what we say we're going to do as teachers, or are we basically reading someone else's lessons that was given to us? Because that's not teaching at all, right?
I
That's
love that.
yeah. So I mean, and that's what he talks about in the pedagogy of the oppressed, the banking idea of education. And what that does is it basically says that whatever I'm teaching you is right. And I think that teachers, we need to recognize that we are not the authority. And when we start to learn kind of in communion with our students, we learn together, then we could really be impactful for these our students.
I love that. You just dropped a lot of gems tonight. I like practicing what we post. That's gonna have to be my next mantra, which it's gonna go into my next question. Because no, like when I started this page and started my brand, like I had my own vision. Well, I still do have my vision. I had this idea, like what I wanted to be, and like people, perpetrate their own perceptions onto you and like what they think it should look like. I'm just like, I'm not trying to be you. Like there's space for all of us. Like I have a plan for what I want the space to look like, and of course,
Yeah.
like Black Educators Connect, so I'm going to get other educators' opinions and things because I want to form a community. Like, it's not all about me. But at the same time, I'm not trying to be like another Black Educator page. Like, I don't really care what they have going on because it's for me.
No. Yes. Exactly. And I love what you're doing with this, especially with the space in this platform. So you keep doing it. You know what I mean? You got a couple of, and plus you got a couple of thousands of followers. So it's all good. You're doing something right.
Look, I'm not even like really big on like the social media thing. Like I didn't even know like if the page is gonna get like this. Like the page is only been up for a whole year. Like
Yes.
I made the page September last year, and then
Yeah.
September this year like was like $13,000, and I was like, what the heck? So I'm like,
Nice.
I gotta go back to square one and figure out like what exactly I wanted to do. I just was in Colorado. It was only 2 Black teachers,
Wow.
including me. So the nurse and myself were the only Black teachers in my whole building. And then I went to another school my second year teaching, and most of the students were Black, Hispanic, and there was no other teacher but me. And then like it was like that a lot of spaces I occupied in Colorado, especially in education. And I was like, I need to find people that look like me. Like I need to host some events and do some things because it just wasn't. Like I'm from Baltimore, DMV. I went to an HBCU, and then I come to Colorado, and I'm a minority again. And I'm like, I can't. So I was just trying to connect with other educators. So I'm just like,
trust me, I know exactly what you mean about being like seeing very, very few Black faces. One of the things that we've done at Columbia was we started a like a Black PhD WhatsApp group. So this way we were sharing grant resources, we were sharing job postings and all these little tiny things that we can do. So it was just weird. It's sad, but and funny at the same time. Oh my God, another Black person! You got to join our group. Like you know.
No, for real.
But we had to do that, and that was the way that we kind of figured out what was going on because everyone was getting little dribs and drabs of information. Mm-hmm. But it just speaks to the power of community and what we can do when we work together. Yeah. So I think that's very, very important. And using WhatsApp is one of those good things. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I'm here for everybody. I'm here for the allies. I'm here for everybody to support all things Black.
Exactly.
But today, like in education and in America, period, like Black people are still a minority. And even in teaching, like we make up like less than 10% of the teaching profession. And it's just like, I'm here for my people because I know how I felt when I didn't have any other support, like literally.
Yeah, it's lonely. It can get very, very lonely. You start to question yourself, and it's very, very easy to fall prey to a lot of different things.
Yes.
So this platform is great for it. And like I said, you continue to do what you're doing.
Thank you. So speaking of like giving advice to others, and we talked about like mantras, like do you have a mantra or like an affirmation that you recite to yourself?
Yeah, I mean, in addition to the the Ben Franklin 13 Virtues of Life, one thing I always say to myself in any situation is there's no such thing as tomorrow. Now I realize that right there is not for everyone. But as I remind myself that there's no such thing as tomorrow, that leaves only today. So that means that you don't set whatever task, you don't put anything off to tomorrow to do. Oh, there's always tomorrow. No. There's only today. So do what you have to do today. Get the stuff done today and let tomorrow's problems be tomorrow's problems and handle what you have to do today. So that's why I say to myself, there's no such thing as tomorrow.
I love that. Which is funny because contrary, we're like the opposite. I'm like, oh, I could do that tomorrow. I'm done for the day. I'm doing that tomorrow. I'm doing that tomorrow.
Yeah,
but I do like your explanation for it because it does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, just leave it. Do it all today because if we always push things off for tomorrow, nothing will ever get done.
And it won't, yeah, that is totally true.
That's
And
another
so, of
good one.
course, so we have mantras. And then I started asking people during these lives, like, do they have a self care toolkit?
Uh-huh.
And the toolkit is just like your go to things. These can be like tangible or intangible. So, like, I have a spa self care toolkit. So, like, in my spa kit, I have like face mask, eye cream, I have like bubble baths, candles, and then I
Yeah.
have like a fit one with like all my like workout stuff. Like, what are like your go-to self-care things, and like what would you put in your self-care toolkit if you don't have one?
I, man. Well, I'll tell you what I do for my self-care, but all of that stuff like that, it sounds great. You know what I mean? Have essential oils and get the kid out what his tubs, burn the sage, run around the apartment. No, no, no. But for me, I listen to Eric Thomas, the hip hop
Oh
preacher.
yes, I love.
He's my dude. Whenever I'm like down or whatever, he has a talk for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in many ways, that's how I was able to get through my dissertation, just listening to him and just plowing out. And it was because of him. He said, you know what? Um, the dissertation is just a paper, and he's right. It was just a paper.
Mm-hmm.
You get through it, and you do what you say you're gonna do. Practice what you post. I also play video games. I love video games. So anybody want to get that work on PlayStation, follow me. um, you could, what is it? Dashes 1977. I'm on PS4. I'll be on PS5 soon. Whenever I get that pre-order in. And finally, this is something that I do that I know a lot of people. I don't know. I don't. What I do on Fridays, every Friday at 7 o'clock, me and my frat brothers get together via Zoom, and really it was just for like all the married frats that have kids, especially during COVID. What I found was that we just need to just talk, and we just talk about any and everything just for that hour. That hour is our protected time hour where we could just kind of just unload, because I said, you know what? We needed a space to just talk. We haven't really talked as men, and I think that it's important to check in with other men on how we're dealing, how are we juggling our families, how we being supportive to our families, and how we maintaining our families while while we're social distancing,
Mm-hmm.
and how we parenting, how are we doing to our kids, and more importantly, what are we doing for ourselves
Yep. Mm-hmm.
in COVID. Again, we're always there for everyone else. We're there for a lot of different things, and almost like octopuses, right? Um, but that hour, that 1 hour, you just get to kind of,
Yeah.
let me tell you what's going on with me. My kids are like, you know what I mean, and blended learning, and man, how am I teaching and working and doing these meetings? How am I, all these little tiny things that we haven't really thought about. So yeah, that's what I do.
That sounds really great. And Parent Out Loud said yes, healthy spaces for dads is so important. I love that.
Yes,
Maybe you guys can connect. I'm not sure what their page is about. Maybe it's a parent. I mean, hopefully it's a parent page. That'll be cool.
yeah.
Well, that's like all the questions I have. And this is like the time where you like plug in, like anything you have going on, tell people to follow you. Tell
Oh man. So definitely follow me. Bleeding Ink Andy. I'm on Instagram and Twitter, same exact name. Check out my website, andersonpsmith.com, ANDERSONPSmith.com, for upcoming workshops and all that other good stuff. Again, like I said, I'm also the Chief Impact Officer for bookclubs.com. That's BOOKCLUBZ.com. We started an advancing anti-racism through literature series. And on Tuesday, we'll be joined by Dr. Bettina Love. And each month we have so many heavy hitting authors, such as, Yolanda Sidley Ruiz and Goldie Muhammad and Mark Nowak, and Gabriel Bump. And the series is moderated by Trey Johnson, whose article was featured in the Washington Post. When Black people are in pain, white people just join book clubs, which was the catalyst for our series. And again, you could find me on the site, bookclubs.com, or you could follow book club, BOOKCLUB.Z. And you can go, I can go on and on and on, but you can also just go to my website, andersonpsmith.com, and you can find out any and everything that I just finished saying. And look, it's right there in the post. My wife just posted it up for me. Good looking.
Yeah. And I'll post all of that in the caption after the video.
Yes.
If anyone has any questions, we'll stay on for a couple more seconds. You can go ahead and press the question bar at the bottom.
Yeah.
You guys got a couple more seconds for that. Otherwise, we will sign out so that you guys can also enjoy the rest of your day and take care of yourselves.
Yep, exactly. It sounds like ran by.
She's reading that lady, the book.
I'm in
With
between the
another
books
educated
now.
read.
Yeah, so great. So she's gonna be there, and I'm gonna be talking with her on Tuesday. So you definitely need to be there and follow my page, and I'll be posting about it. So follow me, Bleeding Ink.
Yeah, and send me the information after here. I'll post it.
Yeah, it'd be really dope, and it'd be great if you could circulate it too. And I have a lot of great talks, and I do a lot of workshops, and I am a teacher educator, so I help teachers teach better and think about our biases and whatever, and to think metacognitively. And I do it in a very, very fun way. I do it through spoken word poetry.
That is so cool.
Yes.
That's so cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. I really, really appreciate it. I definitely wrote down all those resources, so I'm gonna have to do my homework and look up those things.
Good. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much for having me, and please continue doing what you're doing.
I'm trying. But thank you also, guys, for watching this live. I'm going to end by saying an empty lantern provides no light. So tend to yourself first and service others from the overflow. Take care of yourselves today. Have a great rest of your day.
Sounds good. All right, have a great one. Bye-bye.